Let's freaking go, fellas, ladies, gentlemen. How are you guys? 2 months in the making. My jerks, buddy, he's probably still sleeping. He had a rough day today. It's been short sleep. So we'll see if we can keep this train on the tracks as long as we possibly can. Thank you all for joining us today. MentalCon 2023. Hopefully that means next year there's a MentalCon 2024. So if you're interested in picking up this show, give us a message. We'll let you know how much trouble it is. Just kidding. All right, guys. We got our first guest is already here in the backstage. We're going to bring her on very, very shortly. So let's see you guys on the flip side. Amazing little intro video. Thank you so much, Melfi, for that. Melfi Collectibles, guys. Give him a follow on Instagram and YouTube. He's in the Discord groups as well. Lots and lots of people here in the chat. Everybody's here today. But let's bring in our first guest, the lovely, the talented Miss Rhiannon Owens. How are you tonight, Miss Rhiannon?
I'm the devil.
It's only fitting that my partner's not here on time because I was late the last time him and I did a video. So.
Payback's a bitch.
Yeah. See, but he's late for this event. See, I was late for like some little mini, hey, this is who's coming on event. He's like, I'm not showing up. He bailed on me. Oh man. So we got all kinds of great people here in the chat already. We got OCD, Matt Fuller. What's going on, man? How are you doing?
Matt.
Brock, what's up? 878. He won a sketch card the other day. So Melfi's here. We got Symbiote. Brittany, what's going on? Oh, Dre. What's up, Dre? How you doing, man? Yeah. You artists, I gotta tell you, you artists that have contributed and been a part of this have been absolutely amazing, the amount of stuff that you guys have supported us with. So we absolutely appreciate that. Marvelous Cards. Ken, what's up, man? How you doing? Dan, how you doing, buddy? Hey, I'm here. I made it. Jake just sent me a message. He just woke up. So all day, I was telling Rhiannon before we came on, all day today, it's like Jake and I are trying to sleep, but yet the phones are going ding, 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 ding. I'm like, oh. Oh, yeah. Jake, I got you set, or Dre, I got you set with the link already. Actually, 10-4. Yeah. What's up, man? How you doing? All right. We got Spidey Case here. What's going on, Spidey? How you doing, man? Armando, what's up? I'm already late, but hello, everyone. No, man, you're right on time. Anytime during this stream, you're right on time. Adam, what's going on? How are you? Bob, welcome. Oh, my goodness. Everybody's here tonight. Holy cow. 29 watching already on the live stream. That's awesome. Alonzo, what's going on? We got Nancy's here. Nostalgic. Steven's here. Marvel Marshall. Oh, my goodness. Jeff, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Trey says, real.
Hi, Dre.
William, let's go, man. William says he's going to try to watch the entire 24 hours. Yeah, guys, if you can't even stay on for the 24 hours, put us in the background. Let us play muted or something like that. It helps with that watch time stuff. So, let's see here. Who else we got? Okay, Symbiote Elite. What's up, man? Appreciate you. Yeah, Ree's going to hang out with me for 24 hours. Jake couldn't bother to show up, so Ree said she was going to do it. I'm just kidding.
I could.
She's like, I could do it.
Sit here and work on
Stock, cocked, and ready to rock. What's up, Nostalgic? Well, Miss Ree, how are you this evening? Fantastic way to start our show.
Really good. Just got back from a show in Hawaii 2 days ago.
Fantastic.
I was in Atlanta the week before that, and Florida the week before that. So I'm alive.
Very nice. That's great. So what were you doing you had the show in Hawaii. What all were you doing over in Hawaii? Just art show, displays? What were you doing?
I got a random message on Facebook. This was really funny. Someone said, how would you like a subsidized trip to Hawaii? And my response was literally, get out of here, spammer. Like I was so tired of spam messages. And he's like, no, this is legit. So this was the second year that they had this particular show. Apparently there are a couple. And the person who reached out to me was a fan of my work. And asked me to be a guest artist. I went with Chris Foreman, who is also a sketch card artist. So we've known each other for years, and we got to meet for the first time and hang out, which was really cool. And it actually ended up being a really cool show. There were quite a few card collectors, at the show, which I was surprised.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it was like a little mini comic convention. It was just on one floor, but it was pretty cool. I even bought some toys. So it was a fun time.
Awesome. So have you, with these conventions you've been going to, have you been seeing an increase in people that are looking for cards and sketch cards and stuff like that?
I haven't seen an increase, but I've seen new faces. So I, took a break for about 2 years. And then once we all started kind of like really gearing up for things, COVID hit. And then I didn't go to shows for another 2.5 years. And when I started going back out, I didn't see a lot of familiar faces, but there were a lot of new faces. At one particular show in North Carolina last year, there was somebody that I had never met, never spoken to, don't recognize their name at all, but was familiar with my card art and came up and asked for a sketch card commission, which at comic shows, I used to get a lot in North Carolina at Heroes Con. There was quite a little collective in North Carolina in that area. And whenever we would go to that show, I would always do a handful of sketch cards, usually for pre-show pickups, but
very nice.
Yeah, lots of new people. So it's good to see that the hobby is still expanding, even if you're not seeing new names. Yeah,
I've noticed in the Facebook groups there's a lot, it seems at least, that there's a lot more talk around sketch cards themselves, and people are starting to see a greater appreciation for them. So when you're drawing, do you prefer comic covers or do you prefer doing the sketch cards? I mean, I know comic covers gives you more space, but which one do you prefer?
I used to literally hate comic covers because the cardstock, the cover stock was so horrible. And I think it kind of started like sketch cards did. They just expected people to take Sharpies and scribble something really fast. I don't think they really knew how much it would go or how far it would go. I like sketch cards because they're smaller, and I would love to argue that because they're smaller, they take less time, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they take more. I think being in such a small space, you really have to try to cram as much as you can in there because collectors really love, full scenes, full figures, using powers, action shots, backgrounds. So it's a little more challenging. I kind of like them both equally at this point. I know when I first started, I had no idea what I was doing. And so all my sketch cards were like half faces and portraits. And there was a huge decry over that back when we were all still on the scoundrel boards years ago. And there's actually been a little bit of a forgiveness at this point. There's been a couple collectors who actually really like portrait cards. So I still do a handful. And if I'm in a crunch, I'll do a bunch.
Wonderful. Well, we got another guest popping in for us. The one, the only, Mr. Retroverse, Jakey. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning.
Sorry.
You're okay, mate. Did you get a chance to get a few hours of sleep today?
Just about, yeah.
Got a couple of them? All right, cool. That's good, mate. Yeah. Glad you could make it in. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we just got rolling. Reese said she would fill in for you, so.
Oh, this is the new Marvel jerk.
Yeah.
He can be the next Marvel jerk, I think. Now
she's the honorary, yeah, for sure. So
I think so.
So from in your career, for the pieces that you've created so far, is there one piece that you've made that stands out kind of far and above all the other pieces? Like you just like, hey, this is the piece for what I've done so far.
Yes, and I have it right here, actually.
Oh wow!
So I'm sitting.
I'm gonna make you big if that's okay.
I'm sitting at my literal art desk, and you can see behind me the mess. Like I still haven't completely unpacked.
Trace's morning sunshine.
Oh, bad, so bad. So this particular card is 15 years old. Well, almost 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that I have maybe gotten better, but
nice.
That's really good.
This particular card, I attribute all my success to this image. And I've talked about this in other interviews, but I know that, or knew when I first started, like, artists had their work on boxes or like in promo ads, and I wanted to be that good. Like at some point, I had no idea what I was doing when I first started. Like I had never even seen a sketch card until I went to a show and actually saw an artist with a book of them on her table. So when I got hired with Rittenhouse, we were working on this X-Men set, X-Men Archives, which was the first set that I was invited to work on. And I wrote Robert Colbus, who is the art director, and I said, listen, what do I have to do to be good enough? Like, what do you want to see, or what do I need to do to prove that like I could be on a box or in an ad? And he goes, oh, well, there's no like hoops you have to jump through. We just, we select images in-house. We go through everything as they come in up to a certain point, because of course they had to, get everything ready early. And I remember finishing this set. X-Men Origins Wolverine came out before it. And so it was, I think, April. I got the invite in December, worked on the set December, January, I think maybe February, mailed it in, and then I think it came out either in April or May. And I was working in a comic store part-time at that point to kind of like be able to buy all of my markers and art supplies. And we were opening the boxes on like the new day, like when all the shipment comes in, and the Previews magazine had a very small section for trading cards. And Rittenhouse had paid for a full page ad, and this card was dead center in the ad. And I literally went and locked the door and cried.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool though, to see your art in that kind of front and center like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then it was on the back of all of the preview cards. There's the same cards that they used for the full page ad. They put there, and then there were full page ads in actual Marvel comics. So like this card was everywhere. Then it ended up in 2 or 3 magazine articles. So I really feel like being so new, nobody knew me. It really gained me a lot of visibility and traction, like right out the gate. And so I have this really stupid nostalgic love for this card. And it's my favorite character. So there's, some other little things attached to it, but yeah, this one, this
that's the one that does it.
That's
And we've talked offline, and you've mentioned this in some other interviews, that Storm is your girl. That's the one that you love. Ken asked, what are the top 3 characters that you like to sketch? Like your top 3, which ones will those be? Obviously, Storm is number 1.
Storm is number 1. I do also really like drawing Jean Grey in any outfit. And if we're gonna go strictly Marvel, I really like Scarlet Witch.
This isn't the Marvel show. What's your top 3?
Listen.
Well, then it's a tie between Wonder Woman and Scarlet Witch. So as a kid, I grew up, watching the Linda Carter reruns. And so right after I did the X-Men Archives and the X-Men Origins set, I got to do the Justice League with Rittenhouse. So the first 2 like major properties I worked on were Marvel and DC, which was really just so yeah.
That's
Storm
awesome.
is always number 1. Jean is a very close second, and then Wonder Woman or Scarlet Witch kind of tie for 3rd.
Some really good picks there. Armando asked if you kept the magazine to frame it.
I do somewhere in storage have the Previews magazine. I have a copy of each of the 7 comics the ad was in. I have a copy of each of the preview cards. And there was like just a non-sport magazine. It wasn't Non-Sport Update. It was another one that talked about non-sport cards. And I believe they interviewed Robert or interviewed Rittenhouse, and this was in there also. So I do have copies of all of those. I don't frame them because I just keep them all tucked away somewhere, but I do have, I'm stupid sentimental about stuff like that. So yeah, I got it.
So this question may put you in a pinch because you do currently work with Upper Deck, but this is your own personal preferences. Of all the sets you've been in so far, what set has been your favorite set to work on?
I think my favorite set that I worked on was probably Women of Marvel 2, which was 2013. I think it came out in 2014, but we did it in 2013 for Rittenhouse. And there were some pretty crazy things attached to that. So again, I had reached out to Robert and I'm like, so what do you have to do to be an incentive artist? And he's like, oh, well, I mean, we just pick. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to do that one day. So just keep me in the back of the head.
Put me on that list, right?
And I mean, God, I think we had that conversation 2 years before Women of Marvel, the second one, because I had just missed Women of Marvel 1 in 2008. And the other thing was, I was like, what do we have to do incentive work? Like, how do you get printed cards done? Like, because I mean, it was a new career for me, and I was really gonna like throw myself whole hog into it. So I was like asking all the questions. I was that annoying student in class. It was like, how do we do this? How do I get this? How do I get these extra credit points? Like, how do I do all this stuff? And Robert was really transparent. So Women of Marvel 2 was not the first time. I think it was the second time I did incentives, but it was the first time I had printed Marvel work. On top of doing the 9-card subset for that, I did 6-case incentives, which were supposed to be puzzles. So they were 4-card uncut puzzles that they asked me to do puzzles specifically because I had done puzzles, I think, for another set. It was either Bronze Age or Marvel 70th or something. And they really liked that I like crammed characters in it and did backgrounds. Behind the scenes, while I was working on that, there was a lot of really just horrible things going on. And so professionally, it was really a challenge, but I'm really proud of the work I did despite all the stuff that was going on. And it was significant for my career in ways because it was like first printed Marvel work. It was an all-female set, which everyone knows I like to draw the girl characters. So there were just a lot of things about that will probably be my favorite set until I can top it professionally with something else. Sure. Like Marvel Masterpieces, doing those.
Armando, I was gonna say something with Armando because he asked Marvel Masterpieces 2023.
Yeah,
and that's not a loaded question, but it kind of is because they haven't announced who the artists are, so I know the artists can't really say much about it yet until they do that. So you can share that if you wish, but we're not gonna ask you directly if you are involved in that. There you go. There you go. So Ray, you have done a sketch card for us for our fundraiser here. This will be the first one we're going to run tonight, so we may have some hiccups in this, but I think we'll be okay. Why don't you show us the card that you created, guys? This is going to be a live auction donation. So obviously, Rhea loves Storm, so Rhea's created a card stock. She created a wonderful Storm here.
Yes.
This is going to be a live auction, so it's going to be the first live auction of the night. So we're going to have a little hiccups in this, but I think we're going to work through it just fine. Basically, in the chat, you're going to essentially bid how much you would pay for this card, and whoever is the highest bidder when we don't have any additional bids, that'll be the person that wins. And what you'll do is you'll go to the link that is pinned in the comments. You'll make your donation if you're the winning bidder. Once we've confirmed that, then we'll get you sort of coordinated with Rhea after the show to arrange for shipment and everything. So now we are asking if you do win and you are international for any giveaways or anything like that, if you can help cover shipping over $10, just to make it not so expensive for the guests and the hosts and the artists and stuff like that when it comes to shipping. So we're going to start all of the art cards for the entire show. We're going to start at $30. That's a low start. These things should go well above that. All the money goes to a great cause. Wounded Warrior Project is a fantastic organization that helps veterans, their families, work through all kinds of things, physical disabilities, mental health. And this is a place here, this show, for people to share their stories, any mental health things that they may have gone through in their careers, how that has affected them, positive or negative. Because I think everybody in some way or another has those sort of things happen in their life and that they're affected somehow from that. So let's go ahead and start with that. So for starting bids is going to be $30 on that Storm. Please do them. And if guys, just to keep it simplified, we want to start these in $5 increments. So start at 30 and then from there go up $5 or $10, whatever, but make your bids in $5 increments. We won't be doing sniping. We'll let it run until we kind of don't have any more bids, and we'll go from there. I'll do my best to try to pop up the highest bid at that point in time on the screen. Currently, highest bid, we have Ken in at 35. I'm not going to auctioneer this. I'll just do my best to pop those up. We're going to keep going with the questions. That way you guys can see what's going on here. We do have a question from Adam Braun. He says, would you say that working in cards is better after taking a 2-year break?
Yes.
And then why so?
So part of why I love working on cards is because I don't have to carry a story through a set of images, and I don't have to read a script and draw from a directive. Like, I have full autonomy and creative control. Now, obviously, I have to, follow certain guidelines, like either a set of characters or, rules about do's and don'ts. But it's a one and done. So, after you take a break, if you really just, draw what you love or draw from what you love, you can just, here's Phoenix again. Here's the flame bird.
These are courtesy of Matt Fuller. He sent these over via Messenger so we could take a look at some of your previous work here.
That was one of the incentives for Women of Marvel. And that was one of the last ones I did. Yeah, these were and it was like, how do you like piece these characters together? Like, I was like literally pulling out of my ass. Like, here's a card of all blonde girls. Here's a card of all girls with face masks. Here's a card of, like, this particular group of characters was in an Incredible Hulk comic where these, I think it was the Red Hulk, these ladies all went up against him. Yeah, taking a break, coming back in and jumping back into like cards. And they're smaller, so it's kind of like working in sequential art where you have the smaller windows, but you can tell a story just with one image, either with what the character's doing or what's going on in the background, or with a story or a setting. And I really like Storm, especially. Really like subtle nuances. Like, I don't like just drawing like, oh, here's lasers coming out of Superman's eyes. It's maybe you'll see, like, I don't know, some destroyed part of a robot in his hand and he's got kind of a smirk on his face, so he just whooped somebody's ass or something.
For sure. Ken says that he'd love to see your Domino or Psylocke sometime if you ever share those on Instagram or on social media at all. That'd be awesome. Or Jorge's already yelled at Matt, hey, don't jump it from 45. Keep it interesting.
So we should.
When you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got Matt's in the chat. He's a sketch card maniac.
It's so funny playing with like Matt in this genre, because the first card Matt commissioned for me years ago was actually a Star Wars card of Savage Opress, which is Darth Maul's brother, I think. So yeah, we didn't see or interact or talk to each other for probably, I don't know, maybe a decade, up until a couple years ago. And then he was in the MCCW and the MCW groups, and I was like, oh, hi. Or was it MMC, Marvel Masterpiece Collectors?
Mm-hmm.
So many numbers and letters.
And William, she does draw male characters as well.
Very rarely, but yes, I do.
I have a brown suit Wolverine from you, and it's really, really well, really good. I really like it.
I just did a handful of those cards for the MCCW blanks, and I had a blast working on those.
Yeah, for sure. How was working with the cardstock that we had sent over? This is a little bit thicker stock than what the MCCW has.
This is actually the exact stock that my PSCs are on.
Nice.
And I believe it's the same stock that the MCCW blanks were on. So it was.
Yeah, we went right through the same company that they did for theirs, because they've already had good experiences with it. The artists already draw on it. So we're like, let's use something that's proven to work for the artist. So,
easy.
Why don't you show us the card that you're doing as the auction right now, Reed, just so other people in the chat can see if anybody wants to outbid Matt here. Beautiful Storm right there. Current bid is $100, guys. $5 increments for your bids. if you do win, you'll just go to the GoFundMe link that's linked in the chat for that, make your donation, and then once that's confirmed, we'll just coordinate you and Ree to arrange for shipping. So awesome. That's a great card.
Yeah.
And
I do have top loaders and penny sleeves and team bags and all that. So if and when I do ship it, like it'll be safe and secure and not just floating around.
I love how she says, if I ship it, if and when. If and when. You make your donation. I'll decide if you get your card.
If maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
That's hilarious. I like that.
Trying to think here.
Oh, where'd my questions go? I had some more questions for Ree. I just gotta find them. There they are.
There's so many.
So obviously you're a Storm girl. No, but kind of answers this question. Jake had written this one. Which character do you prefer more, Spider-Man or X-Men? So I guess it's kind of like catch-22 because Storm is in the X-Men. So if we took Storm out of the equation, we'll just say she's not part of the X-Men in this scenario. Do you prefer Spider-Man characters or X-Men characters?
So I will say that it would be X-Men hands down all the time.
I agree.
But I've actually really enjoyed drawing Spider-Man characters. And in the last 2 or 3 years, especially getting asked to do a lot of Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales, I've really had fun drawing those characters. And I think part of it is that their entire costume is not covered in webbing. So I did Spider-Man Archives in 2009, and it was a Marvel gig. And I was like, okay, I don't have to just draw Spider-Man. I can draw all these other people. I do really love drawing Black Cat. I do really like drawing Mary Jane occasionally. But I've even kind of grown into, like, I really like drawing Venom all of a sudden. Shout out Dre, what's up? I got a couple commissions to do Venom during COVID, just coincidentally, and really had a lot of fun. So I did a Venom and a Carnage separately, but then superimposed them together to make a print, and was like really pleased with how it came out. So it kind of encouraged me to kind of deep dive into that character pool a little bit more. And I find myself, this is going to sound funny, but I think artists will understand, when I'm in a time crunch, especially when I have 4 projects on my table, like I do right now, you can't, and you have to manage self-care with sleep and work and like any other kind of priorities. So sometimes being able to just draw a mask with no facial features and giant eyes really helps cut down on time and burn through characters really quickly. Speaking of a certain set that we may or may not want to name out loud, there were a handful of cards that I did where it was like, there's a dozen different Spider-Man cards because it's, Symbiote Spidey, Cosmic Spidey, Iron Spidey, Miles Morales, Peter Parker, Ben Reilly, like Spider-Gwen, Gwenom, and then there was Venom and Carnage, and then I think I did like 6 or 7 Iron Man masks because I just, shiny, no noses, no shadows, just reflections and like little reflective bits. So yeah, and they all passed from what I remember. I think I've already gotten approvals on those yet. So yeah.
Yes. So you had mentioned there quickly that, kind of like you like doing the symbiotes because they speed up your process and it helps alleviate some of that stress and stuff that's part of that. So does your mood reflect within your artwork then?
Sometimes.
Like when you're like in an angry mood, do you draw darker style artwork? Or?
Oh, yes. Now, I tend to not do that so much on card projects. When I used to have more free time and I used to be able to do more just whatever I wanted, sometimes I would paint, and I would paint, like something really aggressive or maybe somebody blowing something up. It wasn't always comic art. Sometimes it was metaphysical, or it was, I guess spiritual, for lack of better words, because I was kind of exercising that demon. Yeah, sometimes I have to challenge myself. Like if I'm not particularly feeling it, if I'm not particularly wanting to draw, but I know I have a deadline looming, You get a lot of very like no expression, staring off somewhere. Like I remember looking at some of my cards going, Jesus, these characters look bored. But then, I'm like, oh, you need to draw someone grimacing or smiling or whatever. Put some character in it. I'm just like, I'm so tired. But yeah, there's shocking a storm card from X-Men Archives, where she's got the mohawk on and she's kind of like, she doesn't have the vest on, but she's kind of standing in the rain and she's just kind of like holding her hands out and her head back. And for me, it was like, oh, I'm so tired. So yes, absolutely, my mood will reflect in my work, for sure.
Yeah, and part of that, Brock says, do you listen to music or anything when you do sketch? And on top of that, if you do, what kind of music do you listen to when you sketch?
So, yeah, I have 13 playlists on my phone. And it's just music I like, which covers a lot of genres. I grew up listening to like melodic California rock, so like Eagles and Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac and Heart. So I like classic rock stuff, but I also like newer things. And my boyfriend listens to really hard heavy metal, but he also listens to like Metallica and Pantera and Megadeth. So sometimes if I need to keep myself awake, I'll play really aggressive or loud music because it kind of helps keep me my eyes open. But if it's just an average day, I mean, it could be anywhere. I mean, anything. I have soundtracks that I've listened to, things that just play in the background. And there are times that I'll just stream movies or music or TV shows that I've obviously seen, so I don't have to watch the TV. I can literally be drawing and I know what's going on because I've seen it so often. I'm a really big fan of movies. I love science fiction movies, and I like obviously comic movies. So yes,
I think most of us probably are big fans of the comic movies and the and science fiction movies. I think lately though with Marvel, it really depends on the movie itself because I feel them lately haven't been that great.
I see a comment here in this. It says, "I'll pay a premium for
I was going to pop that
commission."
up.
I have probably 3 dozen APs.
Hold that thought, Mark. Hold that thought, Mark. So Matt Fuller is currently the leader on the auction for the beautiful storm that you did for us for the giveaway here. We'll give that another. Let's give that another 2.5 minutes. So when our live stream counter hits 35, if we don't have any other bids, we'll end that. $5 increments, guys. If you want to do that, Captain Carpot Chicken ain't going to be big Pantera fans by the end of the MentalCon. Yeah, there's a lot of coming on. So, yeah, absolutely. So that's great. Ree, why don't you give us a preview of what's the next one that we have coming up for your cards here? What's the next thing we have?
The next thing to auction off?
Yes, ma'am.
It's blank, which means you can
Invisible Woman. Good job.
Oh, that's good.
Invisible Woman
on
ever.
Anything. So yeah,
So Mark, that angry, aggressive AP commission you're talking about there.
You can have exactly that, can't you?
You can have exactly that with the character that you want too.
Yeah. So purposefully, I left that one open because if you want Spawn or Superman or Batman or Symbiote or Aeon Flux or something from an anime or whatever, so that's so you get exactly what you want. I mean, Storm is my go-to, so it's kind of like stupid if I don't do a Storm, but it's not all about me. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So Dre says we all know at least one of them has an Aerosmith tattoo on their lower back. Right?
How do I feel about Captain America? I'll draw whoever you want. I've drawn Captain America. As a matter of fact, I'm doing another podcast interview thing tomorrow. And
with Joshua, right?
Yeah.
And
in the banner for it, he has a Captain America I drew way back for, I think it was Marvel Universe, maybe, or Marvel
20 seconds, guys, on that Storm.
Yeah. So hold on, let me find it. I'll show you. Yeah, so he's like, oh no, I have to zoom in. No. Hold on, let me save it. Save it to my phone and then I'll bring it up so I can zoom in on it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mr. Fuller, congratulations on winning the storm.
Yay, Matt gets another Rhiannon
Nice,
Owens card.
There you go. Very good. Very good. Now he's at like 15,643 sketches or something like that. Some insane number. Some insane number. We love you, Matt. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. All right, guys, we're going to start this next one. The blank customized commission. Your character of choice from Miss Rhiannon Owens, starting at $30, $5 increments, and go. Yeah, Dre says I second Venomized Dupe.
Dupe is another character I've done in a pinch. Like, he's literally a pickle with zits. Like, it's just like a green bean with bumps. And I am, yeah.
Adam says 50 right off the bat.
Adam, nice. Hi, Adam.
Very nice, Adam. Adam's donated a few things for us to give away as well. Guys, we do have giveaways for you already. You guys are at, I got to refresh my page. Let me find that so I can refresh it. Where are we at already? We're at $948.
Sweet.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Matt, I have you confirmed you are all set, sir. Matt has made his donation for that. So wonderful. Thank you for that, Matt. Appreciate you, sir.
We just
$948. Yeah, that puts us at I don't know how much it is. Good thing I got my calculator. I can't do math yet this early. I'm still
just keep going.
Well. Just keep going.
We got 6
giveaways to do. We got 6 giveaways we got to do already. Where are we at here? 55.
Never mind the giveaways.
We're
60, 100, 105, 115, 120. Oh my goodness.
Legend.
So real quickly, one of the reasons why I did not hesitate to jump in on this. So my grandfather is a World War II veteran who has passed, but was awarded a Purple Heart.
Did he serve in Europe or in Asia? I don't mean to put you on the spot there, Ree. If you don't know, it's okay. Either way.
I actually don't know because my grandfather never really wanted to talk about it.
You know what's funny is my wife's grandfather is a Korean veteran, and he never wanted to talk about it either. And I think most war veterans really don't want to talk about it, except for with like the people he served with.
Yes,
you know, because they're the ones that understand.
So, yeah. So my grandfather never spoke about it.
150, 155.
It wasn't until after he passed that I learned he has this horrible scar from his hip to his knee.
Mm-hmm.
And it was from a girder in the ship he was on. Like it got hit. The girder, like as it fell, like just the corner of it, like tore into his leg, and he still managed to get people off the boat and survive. My current boyfriend, whom I've been with for 6.5 years, is also a 6-time war veteran. And when we met, he was still active. And there would be times that he would call me, just kind of jokingly, like when we were friends before we got together. And he was like, "Hey, what's up? I just got back from deployment. I'm not dead." And, you know, I never really understood the weight of that joke.
That joke or that statement. Yeah,
right,
that's
so
big.
Silly. But, you know, for him, it was mandatory when he came back from deployment to, you know, speak with somebody. And he hated it. So I would get phone calls from him afterwards where he would be like, "Just tell me about your day. Please don't ask questions. I'm in a really crap mood. I just need to laugh, or I just need to talk about something normal." And over the course of our relationship, he's really made huge leaps and bounds past his PTSD and his anxiety. It's still there, but it's much easier for him to manage. And he's now retired after 24 years. So, you know, I grew up in a military family, and I have a lot of friends who are still active. I have some friends that are no longer with us for several reasons. So I understand, like, it's just so much gets taken for granted, right? Like, oh, you signed up for this. You knew what you were getting into. No, you don't. No, you don't.
There's nothing that you can do that can prepare you for going to war.
Ever.
And potentially having to pull that trigger on somebody else, you know, or taking a life. There's nothing that can prepare you for that. And even if you go, like I luckily I did go to Iraq, but I never had to actually put myself in that position.
Yeah.
But it's that daily stress of when is that going to come?
Right.
That can just break somebody down.
Well, even people that you become friends with, right? These are your brothers. These are your brothers and sisters in arms. They don't always come back. You might not have been in danger, but you lose friends, you lose people who are chosen family, and it really makes you think. And the thing is, my understanding, I can't speak from experience, but you're never prepared for that. You're just taught to get from one moment to the next. You just have to survive.
You just keep moving. Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's where it is nice that nowadays they do make veterans talk to those people when they come back, regardless. They have to go through like a debriefing sort of portion of their post-deployment, because it didn't used to be that way. You didn't have to ever talk to anybody. So then you carry that with you. And again, like you had mentioned, the only people you really talk to about it, you don't talk to your family about it because you don't want them to think less of you. You only talk to the people that went to serve or went to war with you or went on those deployments with you. And it can be very, very stressful. Jeff's a veteran as well. He says it took him 10 years to get help. Dude, I'm in that same boat, man. So my last deployment was in 2008. I got married in 2011 in May. And then October of 2011, they were going to be deployed to Afghanistan. And my contract was up. So I had to make that determination. I had been in 14 years already. I had to make that decision. Do I keep my military career going with my new family, get deployed to another war zone, or do I just say I'm done with this? Right. And I chose my family over going overseas again and dealing with that because I knew I was already dealing with stuff internally.
Yeah.
And it took me till this past year to actually start seeing somebody about it.
My guy's name is Donnie. Donnie actually had wanted to start the process to retire. And they were like, well, no, we need you to go back one more time.
Yeah.
and he was like, what? And he went so that he could, put money aside to send his kiddo to college. And it worked out. I mean, they graduated with a master's at 24. So, talk about fast tracking an education, but, they are not aware, his kiddo is not aware of, everything that he literally went through to be able to fund that for them. And I remember, we were talking about, because we were friends years before he retired, and we were talking about, his retirement. He's like, well, I have this plan. I've been in for this long. I'm going to stay in this long. I'm going to get out here. And then I remember talking to him again, and he was like, well, that changed. So I have to stay in. I have to go back one more time. And coincidentally, the last time he called me after that last deployment, where he's like, hey, what's up? I didn't die. That was actually like when we got together. And it was kind of like, why do you always call me when you come back when you're not dead? And he's like, so because you get it. You know me. You understand me. Like even when he's home, because he works abroad now as a contractor, but when he's home and he's playing like Battlefield, there are times that I hear stuff in this game and I want to go, is that what it really sounded like? But I'm sensitive to not digging into that or bringing that up or even talking about it. Because that's the one thing that he stressed was like, it's off limits. And I just won't go there, even jokingly, because I don't want to dig that back up in him.
And my wife's the same way. She doesn't ask me about deployment or any of that stuff. And, and she hears me talk about it from time to time with friends and, when I'm just sitting here chatting and I'm not live and stuff like that. But yeah, she doesn't talk about that. She doesn't bring it up. And she's even told me yesterday, because I'm going through like claims and stuff like that, you need you want to get like spousal statements. How does it impact their life as well? And she's like, I don't know what to write here. Because how do you write something like that about your spouse? Like how those certain aspects of their life affect your life and your family's life.
For sure. There's so many nuances to it that never get discussed and have only recently started diving into, if at all. So I'm really grateful that you asked me to do this. And I think it's really awesome that you are doing it.
I think it's awesome that you guys, that you especially have been able to come on here and share that story with us too, because it does help others that are in chat that may be dealing with this with their own family or significant other, somebody they're dating or are married to as well. So that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Rhea.
Absolutely.
So Rhea's donating here a blank commission, character of your choice, style of your choice on our MentalCon stock. Current bid is at 155. We'll give this a couple more minutes. We're at 40, just under 45 here. We'll give this till 47. So
and I will sign it and sign the other one.
Awesome. Yeah, we left a little spot for the artist to sign as well.
Although I'm stupid, I signed it upside down.
Hey.
I drew on it.
Hey, it just makes it that much more special. That's for sure.
Legend.
So, Captain Crockbus says, that's great to hear that it's mandatory for veterans to talk to somebody after deployment. They think PTSD was less prevalent after World Wars because troops spent 2 months on boats able to debrief. Yeah, it gave them a little bit of time to kind of decompress before they came back home. But nowadays, the other continuation of his comment was, nowadays you're at war on Monday and back home with your family by Wednesday. That's got to be a brain F. Yeah, for sure. It absolutely is. Yeah, guys, Doombot put in there hashtag MentalCon. Hashtag MentalCon is going to get you entered for the entire 24-hour stream for all of our wheel giveaways. Some guests are going to have giveaways to do during the stream, which will have a special hashtag for that individual when they are on. So if you want to be part of those giveaways, you actually have to be watching at that point in time. But the hashtag MentalCon gets you set up for any of the giveaways we have for the entire stream for the hashtag MentalCon. So, Jake, you got any questions for Miss Rhiannon Owens here for us?
I have actually.
Okay.
Can we talk about the Tarzan set that you did, V?
Yeah.
That nobody's probably seen very much. I love it. It's an amazing set, isn't it? It's on Comic Art, isn't it? I think you're on your profile.
That Tarzan set was the very first project that I did for Cryptozoic. And they were brand new when they asked me to do it. And this was before their former art director, George, was put in that position. The owner of the company, Steven, was the one
15 seconds on the blank, guys.
And it was a bit of a challenge because the cardstock was slick. It wasn't like this awesome cardstock that these blanks are on. It had some kind of like surface. It was almost like they put the UV coating on the wrong side. So the thing about it that was really stressful was my markers didn't blend the way I like. So it had more of a watercolory kind of painting look to it.
It looks like that, yeah.
What I discovered was that animals and like trees and shrubbery and foliage, that really lended itself well to that kind of texture. So I messaged Steven and I was like, hey, so I'm having some issues with this cardstock. Can we do this? And he was like, yes, we can. And I was like, okay, good. So I can draw animals. And so that was really kind of the first time I got to do something other than, comics and people. And again, that had to come together really quickly because it was one of those, hey, so we have this idea. Can you have it done next week? Like it wasn't literally that short, but it felt like that.
Fast.
Yeah. And I still see them. I think there's one or two on eBay currently. But I see them pop up every once in a while.
Because when I looked at them, because they're completely different, and just the feel of the art and like the palette and the texture and it just looks as though you really had fun investigating something else. I mean, I said before my favorite was the cheetah card, which wasn't supposed to be cheetah, was it?
Yeah.
But it's,
no.
Well,
yeah. So that was like the one we could draw a chimpanzee. We just couldn't say that it was a chimpanzee or it was cheetah. It was just the monkey. So I only did that one. That's a hard question to answer because if I'm doing it on a not official Marvel card, that means I can draw her with cleavage or a bare midriff. Man, Marvel has really cracked down on how we're able to draw female characters now, and sometimes it's really suffocating because an image that is absolutely just not risque, they'll still disapprove it because there's even like a millimeter of a cleavage line or some hint of an actual boob. Like,
madness.
It's a pain in the ass. I'm happy to do either. I would just need you to tell me what costume, because Magic has had several. Black Cat has had a couple different variations, and now she's Night Spider. So yeah, I'm happy to do either one. I like drawing both of them. So I wish I could show you the Magic I just did, but it's on an AP and it's waiting for approval.
Wonderful.
And there's going to be no restrictions on the artwork that you can do for this, is there? So which is brilliant.
No. Yeah, I mean, I could literally have Black Cat falling over the side of a building and it's just boob in your face.
That's awesome.
Isn't it mad though that Marvel put so many restrictions on? You know, it's like, I mean, kids have been to the beach. You know, people. You're not doing anything. It isn't sexualized, is it? It's just a cleavage. It's just like a man with no top on, or it's nothing, is it?
The thing that I think that frustrates me the most about it isn't that it's like, oh no, this is too sexual, this is too sexy, this costume is too revealing. Excuse me. It feels like a double standard because this is what's printed in your comics, but those aren't restricted the way these cards are, and it is much easier. It is much easier for a kid to go to a comic store and pay a couple dollars for a comic book. Right. And they can just open it and there it is. I mean, there's literally been panels of like She-Hulk and Hercules banging it out and, Spider-Man in his underwear in bed, waking up and there's silk half dress. Like, but I don't see a kid going and paying $300 to a comic store for a box of cards where there might be a sketch of someone, with a bare midriff. Like, come on.
Right. Yeah. It's not waifu Pokemon. I mean, we don't do that at Marvel.
I mean, the other side to it as well, in the mental health aspect.
What's up, David? How are you, sir?
Me and Nate have had conversations. You can't wrap everybody in cotton wool. People need to see real life, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, we had a bit of stick about our logo that it might look a bit blood splattered, but to try and hide people away from real life is only going to make people's mental health worse. It isn't going to work. Just be real. It's cool. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and that's a perfect point. Even the card art printed for the base sets come from the comic art that's in the books. Bare midriff, butt cheeks, cleavage lines, whatever. It's like, I almost feel like they try to crack down harder on card artists because we're not, contractually obligated through Marvel. We work through a third party, Upper Deck, Tops, all these other cards companies are who we work for. We just get to work on the property. So I feel like Marvel kind of strong arms us a little more because it's like, oh, well, we have to, be extra careful with you guys because, you're not our employee that we can smack on the wrist or dock your pay or whatever. I don't know. It's a guess, but it's still annoying regardless.
I mean, not just that though. I was watching Dan and Justin on the stream last night about the new Masterpieces set, and he's saying that he couldn't rip any of the costumes on the artwork. He couldn't put dirt on people's faces, and it's like, oh come on! It's like, what's that about? It's
well, and the other thing too, I think that contributes to that cracking down on the overtly sexual or sexualized images was, I think maybe 5 or 6 years ago, there was that big outcry about that Spider-Woman variant cover where she's crawling over the edge of a building and her back end is like way up behind her. And it's like, oh, that looks like she's about to take it up the duff or whatever. Yeah. But it made me laugh because, okay, so I'm all about equality. Like, and people who are familiar with my work know that I very much like to draw the female characters, and I like to draw them in a way where they look strong and capable, where they don't look like hookers. But there are tons of images of these
15
guys
seconds for your entries, guys.
who there's like, you know, these giant muscles or these like bubble butts. I mean, even on the guy characters. And I'm like, I feel like there's a little bit of a double standard going on here.
It's huge, yeah. Yeah, it's like,
David says you have to say the few of your sketches. All I can say is they look amazing. They do. They look wonderful. I picked up a Wolverine brown suit and a 90s Rogue from Ree, and they're fantastic.
So you guys were really great and gifted me a handful of these blanks.
And if you need more, just let me know, and I'll send you plenty more if you want them.
So I saved these two specifically for the auction. I think I have 4 left. 4 blanks.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
I did offer them up last week before I went to Hawaii, and I did take a couple of commissions, but I think I have 4 blanks left.
Awesome.
So if anybody is interested in actually commissioning me, like a PSC, just give me a shout or find me on social media.
What's the best way for them to find you, Ree? Which way do you prefer?
Can I type in the comments?
Yeah, you could type in the comments. It won't do links. So if you want to do a link, just send it in the private chat one, and then I can post it for you. So if you have a link to your profile or something like that, we can do it that way.
Where do I type it? I don't see like a comment field.
There should just be the comment. You should have a comment tab and a private chat.
I see the comment tab. Do I have to scroll all the way back up to it?
I think no. It should just be at the bottom. You should be able to comment. It might not. I don't know. It might not let you from there.
I'll do it in the private chat, and then if
and then I could just paste it over.
Yeah. So
limitations of technology.
I'm not doing any links. I'm just doing like names and things.
No, that's fine. Yeah, because then people can just search for you on those forums and stuff. So
that one. And then
878 says, "Do you have a favorite supply to use if it didn't have a suitable for mailing? If customers could pick it up, you don't need to worry about it. Smearing, watercolor, paint marker, pastels. Do you have a favorite supply to use if it didn't have if it wasn't, I think you meant like if it wasn't suitable for mailing, that customers could pick up? Like, do you have one that you use that you wouldn't mail, like a type of medium?"
So everything that I do is fairly easy to send through the mail. Like, I remember when Charles Hall first started doing cards and he was oil painting, there was a set he sent into Rittenhouse that I guess he didn't. Oh, no. It was Axbone. It was when Axbone was doing his sets. I guess he didn't wait long enough for the paint to cure. So when he just put all the cards in a box, they stuck together. There was probably like 2/3 of the project couldn't use because when Axe tried to pull the cards apart, it actually ripped the one under it. I don't use any medium like that. Like 95% of what I use are Copic markers, which are right here, literally behind the computer. And then I use mixed media like pencils and fine liners. And I do have a spray fixative that I'll use if there's a lot of pencil, but I just ship through the U.S. Postal Service. Now, I have done really large paintings that I've shipped through FedEx in large boxes. But yeah, that Instagram and that Facebook will be probably the easiest way to get a hold of me because I'm active on those platforms.